Hello and welcome to the Bergara War, the podcast and now live stream for county fans by county fans. Those of you who aren't familiar with us, you're here now. Welcome. I'm Nick Lee, keeping the metaphorical seat warm until Bill Williams gets here in about half an hour. But first, I should let you know it's not just me talking to myself. That'd be dreadful. Who's with me, I hear you ask? It's only bloody Russ Johnson.
Hello, mate. How are you?
How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, not bad.
Good. So you're the only member of the show who's been involved from the start. That's correct, isn't it?
That's correct. Only member of the show left that's been involved from the start, yeah.
So in that respect, you're very much the Marquis Smith of Bredbury, except you're not a deceased racist, which is always a good start. So we've had, 6 years of podcasting about county now. So now, instead of people thinking we sound like a bunch of dickheads, they can watch this live stream and think we look like a bunch of dickheads. So who are we to stand in the way of progress? So what we'll do, I think, before we kick off, we'll just tell people a little bit about us and what exactly it is we do.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
I can do, yeah. Are we gonna get Dave on first?
No, go no. You tell him. I'll Dave can bloody wait.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're a county podcast that's moved into sort of video form now. We have guests on. We've had guests in the past like Danny Lloyd. Sam Minion's been on, Mike Flynn, John Kieran's been on.
G-Stop.
As well.
G-Stop, don't forget Gary Stopforth.
Oh, G-Stop, yeah, Gary Stopforth was on as well, so that was pretty good. We just try and get as many people as we can, talk to them. And today we've got Bill Williams on from 7 o'clock.
Yes, which is going to be very good. Dave Espley is also involved with us, who people may know from the Tea Party fanzine. He does a monthly podcast where we go back and look at an old issue of the Tea Party. He's also got the sister podcast to tsbw, where he's going back looking at the Tea Party. And then last year, in a move reminiscent of Tom Cruise marrying Katie Holmes, we brought in our number one fan, Dave Long. Tameside, can you hear me?
Evening, mate.
How are you doing, pal? You good?
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Excellent. You went to Curzon, didn't you, at weekend?
I did.
Right, we'll get onto that shortly. Russ, what have we got coming up tonight, mate? Apart from Bill Williams, what's coming up in the half hour before that?
In the half hour before that, we'll talk about comings and goings, signings, that is. Nothing untoward. We'll talk about the friendlies, get Dave's lowdown on Curzon and discuss the behind closed doors. And then I guess we'll just talk about countdown to kickoff. It's, two and a bit weeks away now till we play Dagenham. So we'll just have a chat about that. And then we'll bring Bill on.
Excellent. Let's kick off then. So Curzon Saturday, very routine win.
Yeah.
How was it for you, Dave? You were there, weren't you? What was the beer offering like first?
It was all right. Star of Pramen. So
good.
Always good.
How much a pint was that?
£4, I think.
That's very reasonable.
I was in Manchester on Friday night at a Lion's Den watching my mate in a band. £6.
Oh, what was it?
Prava.
No, not bad. Not bad. I still won't pay £6 for it though. But the game was all right. Like you say, routine win. First half was a bit of a non-event. It took us a while to get going. Once we did, though, we looked really clinical, really aggressive. Pretty much coincided with when they changed the team round after about an hour. I thought Rydell played well, Collar played well, and Quigley looks a really good signing from what I've seen of him so far.
Because I think that's the type of... A lot of people have complained about the strength of the opposition in the friendlies this summer. But I think it's kind of what you'd expect, really. If you look at the Lincoln side last night, there was a lot of players in that side who were involved in them getting to the playoffs last year. It was mostly fringe players who've not got as many minutes over pre-season. Same with playing teams from the league below. Surely that's exactly what I know. When Jim was manager, he always looked to try and get sides from the bottom of the division above and the top end of the division below in friendlies, which gives you a good indication. I think, because Curzon, we've played them fairly recently when you think about it in the league. So it's kind of good to see how we've progressed since then. I know it's only a friendly. Yeah, I'm very confident going into the season now on the back of these.
I don't tend to look too much into friendlies, to be honest. I mean,
no.
What is nice is that we're playing Curzon changing the full 11 almost. I don't know, an hour after during the match, and still running out 4-0 winners. Whereas 3-4 years ago we were drawing 0-0 or scraping a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
It just shows how much we've come on in that time.
Mm.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself during the game actually at Curzon that it was only sort of 2 or 3 years when we were in the same league, and it really does show how much we've progressed in that time. That we're looking fairly comfortable against Ashton United and Curzon. And it just shows how far we've come.
Yeah, it does. So was there anything else about the game? I mean, in terms of shape and things like that, Dave, was anything you picked up on, or was you too far gone?
Oh, no. It's only a friendly.
15 star Brahmins deep. Pre-season's not just for the players, it's for us as well. You've got to exercise that drinking arm.
Yeah, you've got to warm up to these things. By the time Dagenham comes round and then the away games start, then you're in full season mode then, aren't you? But in terms of shape and that, nothing out of the ordinary. We played a 4 at the back for a time. Barkley looked really. Sorry, it was trialist number 6.
You're okay now.
But he looks really good, and he looks like the sort of type of player that was bullying Mulhern and Bell around when we first got promoted into the National League. He looks like that type of player. Scored a good header as well, which I was right in line with. When the ball leaves somebody's head or somebody's foot, you're right in line with it. Straight in the top corner. Yeah.
Was you that in line with it that you didn't know whether it was coming towards you or going away?
Didn't know whether to duck or not.
Yeah.
But Barkley played well. The usual suspects played well as well. So Hogan, Rooney played well. Madden does what he does. As I say, Rydell played well, as did Walker as well. Thought we got some decent service into the forwards, as we showed with the 4 goals.
Yeah, good stuff. We've got a comment already from Jake. Do we think it'll be 3 or 4 at the back?
I think it's it just depends. I think you probably answered it there with the depending on the opposition. Yeah, I think it just depends. But they've played both so far, and we've certainly got enough mouths to feed at the back now. So I think it might just depend on the opposition.
That was one of my biggest issues last season, was the fact that we looked too dependent on 3 at the back. When Russ came in and went 4 at the back, that's when things fell apart for a couple of weeks. So this season, with the personnel we've got, we should be able to switch between both. That's where you gain the extra points as well, when you take account of what your opposition are doing and change it. If you can change your system to nullify what your opposition are doing, then that's where you're going to get those extra points that are going to be the ones that will win us the title. I think
you've got bigger issues than that. Than whether County play 3 or 4 at the back, Nick. You personally, I mean, I'm attacking you.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah. I mean, if I didn't talk about other stuff because of all my issues, I'd get fuck all done.
But
that'll be another podcast. We'll do a side podcast about my issues.
It'll be like Dark Days, won't it? Like Nick's issues.
Same with I know we're moving slot onto the Lincoln friendly. They changed the shape again on the hour mark in that, or we might have been it was on the hour mark, wasn't it? I think. Should remember, it was only last night, wasn't it? It's just telling you, it's good that we can switch it up like that. I like a manager that likes to switch it up.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, keeps the opposition guessing as well. You're not kind of too one-dimensional then, keeps them guessing, and they have to react accordingly.
Yeah, I'm more excited about how the attacking players are going to line up, because the options we've got there, it's mental.
Yeah, well, in every position, I think you can switch it up. He can play almost any sort of formation that he wants, can't he? He could play Christmas tree if he wanted. From 1889.
Yeah, let's go Christmas pudding. Christmas pudding.
Yeah. It's just really good. I think I said it on the test stream that we did, if anyone saw that in the week. It's just nice to be able to have this strength in depth. There's football league clubs that don't have the strength in depth that we've got. And it's just I've never known it as a County fan in my life before, supporting County since like late 80s, early 90s. Never known it to be this strong as a squad.
No, you're right. You're right. I like how we've kind of upgraded the link up the sort of attacking midfield as well. Because we've already got Newby in there. And we know Rooney can play quite further forward, but we've got Whitfield in there now. I think that we were lacking that at times last season. A kind of link between the midfield and the strikers. So that's good.
Yeah. I think if we can go up this season, I think we'll only need about maybe 2 or 3 more additions this season to challenge at the top of League Two. I don't think we're far off that at all because there's not much of a difference. If you look at the last few seasons, 9 times out of 10 the teams going up from the conference are doing well in League Two, and I think we're better equipped than any of those were. Yeah,
we've said it before in previous pods, haven't we? It's the double bounce.
Yeah,
it can happen. Just going back to the front three, or at least the attacking lot, we heard that obviously Ali went out on loan to Chorley. We've got a comment in from James Lister. Gutted that Milenic went out on loan. Looked a handful v Lincoln. Embarrassment of riches up front, and we have, haven't we? And what was telling for me about the Milenic Ali, the font loan to Chorley was we're loaning our youngsters to Chorley now. 2 years ago, we were playing him. So that's the way it should be. We should be loaning our players to clubs around us. Local clubs that are lower league than us. And it was always a bit of a gripe of mine that we're even playing Chorley at any point. Do you know what I mean? On the same sort of competitive playing field.
I think it's a very good move for the font. That is purely. I mean, I know we've had our beef with Chorley in the past. I'm sticking with the font. The font is happening. I say he's going to be changing his name by deed poll by this time next year, without a doubt. Because we've had our beef with Chorley. I know that. Fuck you, Chorley. Blah blah blah, all that. But they do set up well. They try and play good football. They're well coached. I think it's a great move for him. I think he'll do well there. I really hope we've got a recall in the case. I mean, it'll have to be some injury crisis for us to need to recall him. But he looks like he's a bit of a wild card. He reminds me a bit of Darren Stevenson in that there's that rawness there.
Yeah.
But there's enough to work with, I think Stevenson's injury set him back a lot, just as he was starting to look really good. But I think Ali's a very similar player. The worry is that he's on a 1-year contract. So he could realistically do well at Chorley and then be off.
Yeah, but that could be for a number of reasons, and one of the reasons could be that his attitude and the way he is as a professional. It's okay seeing him be, shackles on a pitch and playing a friendly against Lincoln and having a few shots and what have you, where he looks exciting. What's he like in the dressing room? What's he like in training? Maybe they're just giving him a chance with a 1-year contract.
But also, if you think about the whole development squad side of it, maybe it's a case of waiting until we're in the league, and then it'll be a proper development squad playing in the competitions. So maybe that's why it is just a 1-year contract. But imagine if he does well at Chorley, I'd imagine he'll be getting an extension.
Yeah. I thought he played well at Ashton United and Curzon as well. I'm not sure he played at Curzon actually, but definitely Ashton United. He looked really good and pretty much what we saw of him last night. It's a good move though. It's a good move for both parties really.
We should bear. In fact, Jake Smallwood's just mentioned the exact same thing. He's under 23, so if he does well there and we tie him to another 1-year contract, then we're getting a fee for him. He's cost us nothing, so
yeah,
profit on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget as well, this is county. So like Andy Halliwell points out, there'll be no recall. There'll be an injury crisis. He'll probably do that well that he'll go somewhere like he'll get really, I don't know. Maybe Wrexham will sign him somehow, and he'll score a hat trick for Wrexham. But yeah.
It'll be like Bennett going to Hartlepool last year, won't it? He'll go on loan to one of our rivals and end up scoring a bag full.
Yeah, but the funny thing is though, that's not the first time it's happened with County, is it? I remember players leaving us and going straight to rivals in the past, and it's like, oh, what are you doing?
Well, it's a far cry from the day of us having Eddie McGoldrick on loan from City and him being allowed to play against them, though.
Oh, don't remind me about that one.
It's amazing that's when we were at our highest level, and it's possibly one of the most tin pot things we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's better. I say better run now. I mean, I know we let Bennett go on Hartlepool, but it's so professionally run into it. I tell you what was nice about the friendly last night was seeing Stock there, clearly showing an interest.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the difference between some of these football club owners that are just in it for for their ego and what have you. He's a football fan. You know what I mean? It shows. It really does. I mean, John Kieran's mentioned in the commentary for the live streams a few times last season that Stock's constantly on the phone to him. He's obviously got people running the club for him and doing the day-to-day stuff, but he's still fairly hands-on, which is it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
But not so hands-on that he's being a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like dictating what everyone's doing.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a kind of nice balance. Obviously taking an interest and wanting us to progress and do well, but not kind of interfering and picking the team.
Does it? I mean, it's 18. Is it 18 months they've been here now? It is, isn't it? Just over 18 months.
Yeah.
Does it not feel like they've been here like for years now already?
In a good way.
In a good way, yeah. No, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't for me. It feels like they're just getting started to me.
Oh yeah, I see that side of it as well. But it just seems straight away they just knew what they wanted to do. Straight in. There was no hesitation, and then as soon as the pandemic came in, as soon as the pandemic happened, a lot of clubs would be panicking and thinking, oh shit, and with us it was just right. Let's get some shit done. Let's have a spring clean and get an infrastructure set up. I just listened back to last week's podcast earlier on, and I'm alarmed at how many times I said the word infrastructure.
It's a good word.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like a word now. I've said it that many times.
It's right up there with annex and sesquipedalian.
Oh, and gusset and moist.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Nick.
So with these new players, and we've still got some of the players. I won't call them legacy players, but the ones that were part of the championship team. Do you think that their days are numbered? We've got a comment here. It's John Wiseguard, Sam Minion, Jordan Keane, and Ash Palmer. Are the days numbered for them? I don't think it is for Sam.
No.
I think he could go at least another one, maybe two levels up with us.
I think he's got a massive part to play with us, especially if, as we mentioned before, we're going to be switching systems round. Yeah. Because as part of a back four, I'd rather have Minahan there and Salvin Hales on the right wing, as I said last week.
Yeah. I think they've all got a part to play. I think we mentioned it before, and maybe mentioned it on the test stream the other day, that it's just naturally those players that came up with us from the National League North will eventually, be left behind, for want of a better phrase. I think there's no reason why all those players can't move up into League Two with us. After that, who knows? But certainly for the next season or two, they will be with us, I think.
Are they the only three left?
Inchliff.
Well, Inchliff as well, yeah, of course.
Well, except in reduced roles, possibly. I mean, particularly in defence, we've got a lot of mouths to feed now, as I said earlier. Would Palmer be happy with playing in that reduced role? Who knows? But Keane kind of falls in the same category, but he's a little bit more versatile, and he can play defensive midfield. But I think they all can move up into League Two.
Palmer, though,
we'll see what happens after that.
Dave Philby makes a good point with Palmer. Obviously, he was vice captain last season behind Hogan.
Yeah.
With that, it's obviously going to be a reduced playing time for Palmer. Does he keep that vice captaincy?
I think so. I think he's shown over the last 4 or 5 years that he's a top professional. I think it's not just being a vice captain is not just about what you do on the pitch. It's about how you are behind the scenes in training, like how your attitude is when you're not involved in the squad. So I'd imagine he'll keep it, but I suppose there's been no announcement, has there? So maybe it will just be a matter of, keep the continuity. Hogan as captain, Palmer as vice captain.
Yeah. I think you're right there, Nick. Spot on with that.
Yeah, they don't normally announce captains and vice captains. They do it. Well, when do they do it? It's usually different, isn't it? That's a good point, actually. I'm not really sure. I know Football Manager. It's really late, isn't it? But
Yeah.
that's not real.
But don't accidentally don't accidentally pick the wrong guy though, and then have to
Oh,
take it
no,
off him, because then it all kicks off.
I know, yeah, you know.
Yeah, when your finger slips, oh no.
So comings and goings then. Obviously, we had Ali going out. Barkley is the only new addition. Again, I keep, you know, with all these additions, I keep on looking at it, and we will do a graphic of the squad depth. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
all I could see, and maybe it's because I've got my blue tinted glasses on, and I only look at County's feed. Tend to look at others every now and again, but I see us signing really, really top quality players. I'm not seeing Notts do that, or Wrexham, or any of the others do it. All right, one or two in ones and twos, but not like what we've got.
But I mean, we weren't that far off last season. I don't think our problems were really with personnel. I think it was more, you know, giving them more time to bed into the system Rusk wanted to play. I think with a pre-season, much of the same squad, I think we'll be fine. Obviously, a couple of additions, but hopefully we can bank on Barkley. I would have thought he'd have joined Halifax.
Oh, fuck off!
I'm sure we can get a tumbleweed video for these types of moments.
Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of the piss boiling that we've been doing by signing these players as well. I think it's hilarious. It's been pointed out quite a bit recently, especially when we announced Barkley, that you compare Accrington and County, there's no comparison. I mean, the only difference is that they're a couple of divisions higher than us. Other than that, we are, you know, a much more robust history, better behind the scenes infrastructure and everything in the history, and you know, just better than them in pretty much every single facet, really.
I think the biggest thing for me, again, you know, versus Wrexham and Notts County and what have you, is we lost against Hartlepool, but we went 18 games unbeaten at the end of last season. We've already got the nucleus of that winning team, that settled winning team. We just need to add a few bits and bats to it, which he's done. Well, hopefully he's done. When, you know, we'll find out when the season starts. Wrexham, clean slate, new manager. If he gets it right, fair play. But I can't see him. You know, they have to have a lot of luck to get it right first time. Notts County have had half a season with their new manager. Yeah, it's looking good, and they've added to that. But they're still behind us, I think, in terms of where they are.
Yeah.
I do love the way we're boiling everyone's piss, and then you can tell
it's about time.
Yeah, it is. It's usually everyone boiling our piss, isn't it? You know.
I mean, when we're in the National League North, the main reason we boiled people's piss was when we talked about how many season tickets we sold, or what crowd we got. That was the main source of the piss boiling. But now it's because we've just got this squad where you look at it and think, "Fuck."
You know you're boiling other fans' piss when you actually get a random tweet from a Grimsby Town account. Let's say, you know, you're pretty confident, aren't you? Well, yeah. For all the reasons I've just explained.
Yeah. But at no point have any of us said, "Oh, we're going to piss it." I think we're all being pretty reserved about it. I mean, we're all excited, obviously, about the talent we've got available to us, but I don't think I've seen one County fan that said, "Yeah, we're going to piss it." And that's a very good shout from Jake as well. Their second half of the season was fantastic.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah, I think they'll definitely.
They were in the relegation zone, weren't they, when we played them at the start? I mean, they had fantastic recovery.
Yeah, I think they'll be up there, definitely. Along with Notts and Wrexham, I think it'll be us four.
I think for the neutral, it's going to be the most interesting National League season in a very long time. I think this is the most like Football League size clubs that they've ever had in this division.
Yeah. I think you're right. I was talking to Matt on the Boundary Park alert system earlier in the week, and he was saying if Oldham dropped into our division, they'd be finishing some at mid-table. They won't be able to cope because of the amount of teams that are, the amount of big teams that are in it, and the type of money that we're all spending. So happy days. We didn't
sorry, Ross. I was just saying, like I said earlier, it's you're comparing the teams that we are buying these players from against County, and in 99% of the situations, County are just a bigger club, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see why. I mean, obviously there's a financial aspect, but you can see why the players, are choosing to come to County.
Well, this is the conversation we had exactly 12 months ago when we signed Rooney. We had this exact same conversation. We're just a bigger club, Barrow's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there, like we said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So back to Barkley then. Sorry, just looking at something. Back to Barkley. We talked about signing. When you consider that the size of that, and Will Fish as well, how did they look? Did they against Curzon? Did they stand out, Dave? Because we've seen them against Lincoln last night, and you can't really tell off the stream.
Fish didn't play. He joined up on that Saturday.
Yeah.
But Barkley, looked really good, really composed, strong in the tackle. Just a really, really good defender.
And Fish does not look 18. If you look at his build, he's not built like an. If I look at myself when I was 18, I was a state. I mean, I'm a state now, to be honest. But I was even more of a state at 18. But yeah, that depresses me. Seeing he's 18 and involved in the England setup, and I'm 34, and in about 10 minutes I'm going to eat some cheese in a microwave cheeseburger.
Cool.
Yeah, it's mental how people's lives are different, isn't it?
Well, he's a professional athlete and you're cheese-eating king.
A cheese-eating twat. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And, 2 weeks on Saturday.
No, it's 1 week, isn't it?
No, 21st we kick off.
So,
2 weeks on Saturday.
Who do we play next? When's Fleetwood then? Fleetwood's next Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah,
oh, good. I've just made plans with my dad and my nephew. I best change them, haven't I? Because we're not playing Fleetwood. There's no fun day there this Saturday for my nephew, is there? No, I best sort that out. What a knob.
Is it Guiseley on Saturday away?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
Are you
going? Yeah, of course you are. Last time I went to Guiseley was when we were in the north, and
is that when it kicked off?
No, I think it was the first time we played them, and for some reason they had a shitload of Somersby cider that was out of date, and they were selling it for like 50p a pint.
Yes.
So I didn't watch the game. Got there about 6:30, thought we'll have a few of these, and thought, staying in here. Can we take our pints out? No, you can't. Right, well, staying in here then, sorted. Another 4, please, bar wench.
Where was that? What pub was that in?
That was in the ground. That was
in the ground.
That was a clubhouse in the ground, yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Stunning stuff, yeah. And I told Ryan McKnight to fuck off. So it was a great day all around for the Lee family.
And it's not been open since the pandemic, has it? So marvellous. They'll have a shit.
That's one of the pub.
They'll have a shitload of out-of-date cider there.
Yeah, you're in for a treat, mate.
Marvellous.
Your son's going to have to roll you home.
if I ring you from Guiseley police station on Saturday night asking you to bail me out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a whip round. You should stick the PayPal on the banner there, Russ.
That's a good idea. What a great idea. 2 weeks on Saturday, Dagenham at home. What do you reckon the attendance is going to be? Are we looking at 8?
No.
Plus, or is that too ambitious?
Not a chance.
Down a bit.
Our average pre-COVID was only, just under 5,000 anyway. You can probably add 500 to 1,000 onto that. And I'm being ambitious there, so it'll be under 6,000.
Do you reckon Dagenham will travel in good numbers, though? First away game you've been allowed to in 18 months?
No.
Good. I'm glad we've cleared that up. We've answered that. Thank you.
I mean, to be fair, they don't, do they? So
no, traditionally they don't. No,
they're not a massively well-supported club.
No.
With all due respect to them, so I don't think so. A few hundred probably.
Yeah. Not a few West Ham fans will tag along for the night out.
Yeah. It is a bit shit though, isn't it? Because imagine getting Wrexham at home or Notts County at home on the opening day. Oh.
Scenes.
It would be. great.
That's one of them where I just say to the missus, "You're not seeing me for a week, love. I'm going out."
I'd like to see the fixture list before they pass it on to the authority, to the police and that, and they go, "Fucking no way, that's happening." No, Stockport and Notts County on the opening day. No way.
Yeah, definitely.
Just drag and drop that away swap it into something else.
Yeah. Well, pretend we didn't see that.
Kings Lynn at home, that's better. Yeah, that'll do.
There's been a lot of talk about the season tickets, haven't there, and when are they arriving? I mean, it's still 2 weeks to go in my mind, so I'm not really going to get excited about it. Although it has been doing the rounds on the socials, should we say? Don't know what you two guys think.
I'm not overly worried. It'll be here in good time, won't it? I mean, it could conceivably come the day before the Dagenham game, couldn't it? You'd still have it in time.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me because I'm a pay on the gate merchant. So it does bother me actually, because if no one else gets their season tickets, it's just going to be me. And then everyone will be, and then it will start off a load of piss boiling amongst the fans of other clubs because look at Stockport, they've got one fan and it's a weirdo.
Right, our guest is here. He's backstage.
Right, well that is me done, chaps. I'm going to leave you, and you can have a good. I'll be tuning in while I'm making my tea, getting cheese in my beard. Have a good one, and I will see everyone next week.
Right.
See you, mate.
See you later. Bye. It's going very slow for me now. Give it a second. Welcome, Bill. Can you hear us?
Hi, thank you very much.
You okay? Okay, so we're delighted to have you on the first live episode of our podcast, our Scarf Bergara War. So it's claim to fame for you, and us probably, that Bill Weaver's on our podcast. So just a quick introduction. Then 260 appearances over 9 years for County, and one of very few players to play all 4 games at Wembley.
Yeah, sadly we didn't win any of them, but yeah.
No, but do you know? I think Dave, did you say there was 6 players?
There are 6, yeah.
Can you remember the other 5, Bill? There you go. Question for you.
I'll have a good go. I think Gandhi Thorpe played them all. Dave Frayne, Chris Bowman, Kevin Francis, Peter Ward, Lee Todd. Are they all any missing?
You got 4 there.
Got 4. Oh, Neil Edwards.
No,
Neil Edwards didn't. Andy Priest, but no, you won't start with it. No.
So, no. Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. If if anyone watching knows the other 2, then let us know. There you go.
Oh, Jim Gannon, obviously one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just one missing.
One
so
more.
Are we one more out? Okay, have a think. If anybody knows, then do send us a message. We have got live comments coming in, and people are asking questions already, Bill. So we'll get round to some of those. But first, I just wanted to talk about you really, and about your career, and kind of like we do with every former footballer we have on the podcast. Just tell us about your early days, really, how you got into football from the start, and how you got your first professional contract, and then how you signed for County.
Yeah, I started off emotional.
There's a lot there, I know. So
just playing local football with my friends, really. And what you work through that. started playing with all them youth team when I was 16. Fell out with it a little bit then, and joined up with Rochdale at 18, and then got into the Rochdale first team at 19. And that's 4 years at Rochdale, then came to Stockport in 85, 86, so a long time ago. I said I had 9 great seasons there, played with a lot of fantastic footballers and a lot of great people. And obviously a lot of the staff, Dan Bergara especially. And, I think probably it was the biggest thing that turned Stockport around from where we were when he came in to what they had. Well, I know it's gone backwards since, but to get them up into the Championship, I know Dave Jones took them up, but without Dan Bergara at Stockport, we would have ever got there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
a fantastic climb from, when I first joined Stockport in 85, 86, I think we had 13 players. I mean, 2 were part-time, we had 11 others, and it made up of non-contract players. And that's how it all started. I was lucky that Les Chapman left Rochdale, and he went to Stockport, and he wanted me to go with him. He came and helped Eric Webster in 85, 86. And I went there and never looked back. And the best part of my football career by a mile. Totally enjoyed it.
So I'm probably showing my age now, but did Bergara sign you?
No. Eric Webster took charge at the end of the season, and Les Chapman came in to help him at the start of the 85, 86 season. But it didn't last very long. And then we got, I think it was Jimmy Mealia who came in then, weren't it? Jimmy Mealia came in, but that went backwards very, very quickly. We had a right struggle that season. And then Colin Murphy came in and pretty much rested. I think, off memory, I think we played 15 games and got 6 points. And Colin Murphy came in and did a fantastic job. And at that stage, it was re-election. He kept Stockport out of the re-election. He did a fantastic job. I think he had 2 stints. Well, he had 2 stints as manager of Stockport while I was there. But he was a fantastic manager as well, Colin Murphy. And when he left, he had a bit of a fallout, I think, with the board members at the time. Asa Hartford came in. Again, Asa Hartford, fantastic bloke. I think he was a bit unlucky to lose his job. I think he was a lot unlucky to lose his job when he did, but he lost his job and Danny came in after. And like I said, everything went from a very low position, and he did a fantastic job. He really did.
Yeah, very good. One thing I just wanted to ask you, Bill. October 1988, I should say. You left county to join City.
Yeah. Asa Hartford was manager at the time. And I mean, Manchester City then, they weren't where they are now, that is for sure. They were a good club, and I suppose at the time it was a step up divisions-wise. City were in the old second division when there were no Premier, first and second division. So they're moving up 2 leagues. But I don't know, I was never really sure about going. And after I'd been gone a week, I knew that I shouldn't have gone, because at Stockport I absolutely loved it, and I loved the people around there, the fans and everything about it. Manchester City were a different ball game, and I think the big downfall there, that the manager at the time was Mel Machin, and he did a good job because he got them up from the season they went up in the year I went 88, 89. He got them up, but it was Jimmy Frizzle who really signed me. I played under Jimmy Frizzle at Oldham as a youth team player. It was him that wanted me to go to Manchester City, but it never really fitted in with Mel Machin. So it didn't last long, and I think within 4 weeks I'd asked for a transfer, and fortunately Stockport wanted to go back, so it was a quick turnaround. I think I run it there in total about 12 weeks. So it was a short visit, you might say.
Yeah. Thank God you did come back.
No, I was happy to be coming back. Yeah.
Stuff. So was in that transfer, was there any money, or was it any money changing hands, or was it?
It's going back a long time ago in modern day terms. But I think the overall transfer, I think City paid 50,000 up front, and I think they had to pay another 30,000 if I played so many appearances, which obviously I weren't there long enough to play that many.
Right.
And I think Stockport got us back. I think they paid 30. So they made a 20 grand in the 80s. It was quite a decent profit, I suppose, in a matter of 3 months, you get 12 weeks. So
yeah, it's not bad.
An interesting one, yeah.
Probably the most profit we've ever made in such a short space of time.
In short space of time, yeah. A quick one, wasn't it, for sure. Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, I was glad to come back.
Yeah, good stuff. Those Wembley games then? I know we lost all 4, but I don't want to drag it up too much. All the bad memories, but were there any sort of good memories from any of those games that you can take away? Any sort of standout moments for you?
Yeah, there's some great memories. I mean, I think the first one I come up with is that I think on the day we played at Wembley, the first one was Stoke, and that was the first time a foreign manager had ever led an English team out at Wembley.
Yeah.
I know it was a big thing for Danny, and I think it was a big thing for all the players as well, because he took a lot of players and made them into better players. I think it's a lower level, but a very similar thing that Pep Guardiola is doing at City. I think everyone Danny brought into that club, he made a better player, and I think that's why there's so many people who still have a lot of affection for Stockport. I know, sadly, Danny passed away far too early, but he made it like a big family. Made everyone feel, part of it, and you got it going. And yeah, a lot of the games, the actual going to the games was such a big thing, because it was when they had the old Wembley gates, and when you pulled up in that first game, I think we played Stoke, I think we were 50 odd out, 49,000 in for that game, and you pulled up at Wembley gates and you just opened up. And it's what I remember from being a kid watching the FA Cup final there, because it was the only live game of football in the year, the FA Cup final, when I was young. You used to see the teams going in, the Wembley gates opening up, and the coach driving in, and you walked in, and you did, like, as it came through, yours on the back of your neck just stood up totally. It was like, what's this? And all the noise. They're mainly Stoke fans, because they're obviously a bigger club than Stockport at the time, but not still are really, aren't they? But the day, I totally lined Wembley way as you drove in. So it was a great experience. And they get a lot of the games where I think we played pretty well in them all. I think all 4 could have gone either way. Everyone were a close game. We lost each one by the odd goal. The Peterborough one was a real biggest upset, because we got back into that game and got it 1 apiece late on, and then we give the goal away in the last couple of minutes. We had a corner attacking corner, and then ended up breaking and going scoring a goal in the last couple of minutes. So that was the absolute sickening of them all.
Yeah,
it
was.
Yeah, it was great. The fans, when you went out on the pitch at the start, and the fans were all there. Our supporters they always were great at Stockport, but then one of the appearances were absolutely fantastic. Anyway, for sure.
I just wanted to pick up on something you said there about Danny and him making players better. And it's one thing I noticed about yourself, really, from when I first started going in sort of '89, and that progression over sort of 5 or 6 years there. Yourself, I mean, you weren't the only one, but and I noticed then that you became a better player, a more composed footballer, a better all-round player.
Yeah, no, it did with a lot of people. It gives you a bit of freedom to play as well, because a lot of people, as a defender, they want you to defend, and I'm not saying kick it in Rose's head every time you get it, but a lot of them weren't really happy with you bringing the ball out and taking it into midfield and trying to commit people, but he encouraged it, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
So it did give you a better chance to express yourself as a footballer, rather than just defending like so. Yeah, I think it did with a lot of people. Well, I think everybody there. He did. Yeah.
I think that kind of. Sorry, Bill. Yeah, I think that kind of segues into a question that we got earlier on, Ross. Have you got it there?
Yeah. I was just about to come in with it. So great minds think alike. Yeah. it's about we got asked to bring this up about sort of modern day defenders and defenders of your day, and whether you appreciate the sort of defending kind of player now that's more of a ball playing defender than maybe the old style kick lumps out of people with respect. Obviously, it wasn't. I know it wasn't hacking around, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, you can't. once now as a defender, you can't kick bumps at them. And when I first started playing in the early 80s and into 90s, you could get away with one hell of a lot as a defender. You could, first two challenges, you go straight through people and they were like a free challenge before you get a booking. I think defenders have had to change the game now. It's more about perhaps pinching the ball, and you're nicking the ball rather than cleaning through something, because you can't do it. You just won't last it, 2 minutes in football doing that now. But it did make a great difference when you got into that, and the composure you could have on the ball and like play the ball rather than just kicking the ball as far as you could.
Yeah. Would you like to play now, though, in the way that the game is now? Because it's all play out from the back, isn't it? That kind of thing.
I think I think like you're saying, from the latter years of playing stuff, I think it certainly suits my game for playing that now. But I would never. A lot of people. It's a question you get asked a lot. Wouldn't you like to be playing now? The wages and things like that. When I played football, it was a good wage, but it was like a good living wage. Whereas people playing football now, even in the championship, if you get into the Premiership, anyone with any sense, in 2 or 3 years in the Championship, you should have made yourself, safe for the rest of your life, financial wise. But I would never change when I played. I think the era I played, the camaraderie with the lads that you're playing, you're all going for the same goals, you're all trying it. Whereas I think now, I don't think there's a closeness about players playing in the same team anymore. We play football. We'd all go in the bar together, sit together, have a drink together, and chat. And not because you had to do that. We did it because we all got on with each other, and you wanted to do that. I think footballers nowadays, and I'm not saying all of them, I think it's far more selfish. I think they're very much interested in perhaps the self rather than a lot of players are than the team. Which I think the biggest thing I think team sport. I'd much rather play team sport always rather than individual sport. It's like when you play golf. I'd much rather play in a 4-man team or a better ball player of golf when you're playing with somebody else and you get the same enjoyment together. Whereas individually, it's different. It was great to do that and play with people.
It's interesting you mentioned the money. I mean, now the prize is that much that you're right. They are probably too selfish that they want to reach those Championship and Premier League, don't they, to set themselves up and not thinking about the about that sort of the team and the glory with the team. We've got a question in from Billy Stanier. I don't know if you know Billy Stanier. We were going to touch on this anyway, weren't we, Dave? About you being a decorator and.
Yeah.
Did you do that part time and play part time? And how did that work when you were at County?
Yeah, I had it's called part time contract all the way through. I was at Stockport.
Right.
I used to train at least 2 days a week, usually 3. And in relative terms, the other lads only do 1 extra day. So I was contract that. It's one of the reasons I left City because I fell out over that. But I wasn't actually painting when I was doing. My dad started the painting business in 1970, which is still going now, thankfully. Since playing football, I've done that full time ever since. But I always worked in it. It was when I totally enjoyed doing that as well. So I didn't really want to leave that and just play football at that level then. Because relative wise, you were getting 2 good incomes coming in at the same time. So it was good financially wise, but it was good enjoyment. And the thing with being a professional footballer, they get that much free time. They still do nowadays, but when you're training, when I was training, you'd train at 10 o'clock in the morning. By 1 o'clock, you'd finished, unless you had a game the same day. So you'd finish. So you had a lot of spare time. And I think for some players, it was a good thing if they wanted to go and play golf or do things with the family, great. But I think it was very tempting for a lot of players to go down to the pub or to go, various different things like that, bookies and that. And it did happen a lot that through the 80s and 90s that a lot of people did. And I think too much spare time for anybody when you're young enough like that, sometimes not a great thing. Yeah,
so I think some players, especially when they're young and they've got lots of money, you see it all the time, don't you? They just fall off the rails, go off the rails, don't they, and down bad paths and what have you.
It's a very tempting thing, isn't it? Because especially young players who are playing football now in the Premiership at 20, 21, 22, getting paid that much money. They're millionaires at 21, 22, aren't they? So they haven't got. I don't think a lot of them have got the same desire to keep pushing and pushing. I'm not all by a long way. There's a lot with a lot of desire, but there's a lot who'll just be quite happy picking the wage. There's quite a lot of players who've done it at United in the last few years. I do go watching United now as well. Quite happy just to not play on a Saturday and pick up £150,000 a week, which you can't really knock on United. If a club gives you a contract, they're wanting to give you that contract. If you're not getting the team, you're not getting the team. So, but I don't think it's a healthy thing for sure. No. I'm not saying the wages now because we didn't. It isn't. I think there's got to be some sort of. I'm not saying a wage cap, but some sort of sensibility with it. Clubs can't continue playing 100, 150, 200,000 pounds a week. I think it's happening in Spain now. Clubs there now, I'm not saying they're bankrupt, but Barcelona and Real Madrid's now, they pay that much to Messi's and people like that in wages. They're financially crippled, aren't they?
Yeah.
In the end, the clubs are more important thing than any player.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Was there ever a point for you where you thought you had to do one or the other?
No, I was happy doing both. I could manage doing both. I think if I'd been struggling to get in the team, thankfully I didn't really. I was always playing really. I might have done it then, but you could manage it, and you could manage it back. I think the people probably that did stuff, and my wife and 2 young kids at the time, because I was either footballing in and out or I was working in and out. So the first 2 kids I had I didn't really see much of them growing up. So I had to rely on the wife for doing that. So she did a great job. So it worked out well.
Good stuff.
One thing I wanted to mention about that time when Danny Bergara was manager.
Yeah.
It's something I like to pull up now and again, is that we averaged 76 goals a season under Danny Bergara. Yeah. Just ridiculous. I mean, for a team that finished 4th, 2nd, 5th, 6th and 4th while Bergara was manager, really good. And I remember us playing some wonderful football, some really aggressive, really quite neat and technical at times, but also being able to mix it up as well and be a little bit more direct and a little bit more physical. But we also conceded over 50 goals on average a season as well, which, again, for a team that was making the playoffs and getting promoted, it is quite a lot.
Yeah. I think it showed it one of them. I think we played it quite open and scoring 76 goals, but when you do play it quite open, you're going to concede goals as well. It's a catch-22 situation, really, isn't it? A lot of players going forward, generally the other team are going to break onto you and they will score goals. But I'm surprised it was 50 because we had some good goalkeepers while we were at Stockport. I mean, Neil Edwards especially, fantastic goalkeeper. And we had a lot of good defenders when I first started. Andy Thorpe, club legend, record games played, everything, wasn't it, Andy? So, we had some cracking football, Lee Todd, Darren Knowles, really good fullbacks at that time. And I know it changed a bit after other players came in, but I think with having David Frayne and Peter Ward, they were probably, they were the 2 best midfield players I ever played behind. I think them 2 going forward were absolutely fantastic. And they created a lot of goals and scored goals as well. They were, And obviously, you've got Kevin Francis in your team. I think you're always going to score at that level. You're always going to score a lot of goals.
Absolutely.
His goal scoring record, I don't think he'll ever be beaten at Stockport for sure.
I remember Frayne and Wardy playing in that midfield over sort of. When did Wardy come back? 91.
He came from Rochdale a bit later, Pete, didn't he? He came from Rochdale as well. Well, Danny managed at Rochdale, didn't he? Generally, but the best place to stop. But over
Chris Beaumont as well.
Chris Beaumont, wasn't it? He did.
Yeah, like I say, I remember those 2 playing in midfield, and particularly for the level we were at, they were just immensely gifted football is absolutely, brilliant. Pass of the ball, we could both hit a free kick.
Good. Yeah.
Just really good.
They're excellent. Because when you think at the time, playing in our league, you had Stoke City, obviously been up to Premier League since, the Burnleys, Port Vales. There are a lot of Swansea. There are a lot of teams that we played in the same league as, and we're beating them regularly. We've ended up in Premier League. So it just shows that, and a lot of those will have paid a lot more for players than what we had. And at that time, Stockport didn't really play for players. They were free transfers or a few thousand. But we were playing against teams where they were signing players at 150, 200,000. So I think a lot of that was the way Danny coached the team and got everybody playing together and playing for each other. I think we played against a lot of probably better footballers than what we were at the time. But we always fared well against them because we wanted to win a lot and we, put ourselves out for each other. And that was it. And something instilled with all the lads in the team.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, it's kind of that the camaraderie, the team element of it, and the way that Danny kind of brought everybody together to make it, a really like a big family.
Yeah, definitely did. And I think it went right through the club. It wasn't just Danny with that. I think there's so many good characters at the club, and I think quite a few spots. I know Steve Bellis is still there, obviously. People like that, that's what makes a football club. If you've got people in the background like that. Like the kit man, Bish, people like that. It was just everyone were there together. So I'd say as well, I think Danny had good backing, especially at the start. John Saint, I think, was, I think he bounced off him and he played a straight part while Danny had go a bit the other way. And obviously, James Bronze as well, he came in a little bit later. The one unfortunate one I would say that Paul Jones, he was like coach at one stage, weren't it? But he did that well when he was playing. He got back in playing in the first team, and then he chose to just take it on as a playing role rather than a coaching role. And I think he missed out with that because Paul Jones is another one. I think I'd love to play with him in his prime because he read the game so well. He was an excellent player, but I think he's probably 35, 36 by the time he came to, weren't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, he had his better days, hasn't he? As we all have when you get to 35, 36. You tail end your career, right? Yeah.
So after that playoff final against Burnley, if I've done my research right, that was your last game at County, is that right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So what happened there? Was it just a kind of end of contract, or what happened there?
End of contract. They did offer me a contract to play the year after. If we had gone up going up to the Championship at that stage, if we'd have gone up to the Championship, I'd have definitely done another year. But I think that year was one of the least games I've played in the season. I think it was only about 27, 28. I had a lot of injuries. I'd come up to 35 at the time. Thinking it might be time just to, you've had enough, and that was it. So I'd had a great run at it. So I think I'd done 13, nearly 14 years playing. So yeah, if we'd have I'd have loved to have got in the Championship and have another year and see how we went in that, but wasn't to be, and especially because I've lived in Rochdale, just outside Rochdale on the Life, and Burnley is like the biggest club from just over the hill near where we are. So losing to them was twice as bad as losing to anyone else, really. To a lot of the people I know and I grew up with at school and everything, there's a lot of Burnley fans, so didn't go down too well, that one.
Yeah. And not that you scored that many, but your last goal for County was at Cardiff at home that same season. Right. Towards the end of the season, quite a memorable game that we were 2-0 up in and ended up drawing 2 each, where we just kind of lost a little bit of momentum, ran out of steam a little bit towards the end of that season. But just shows you that I'm just doing my research.
You've done. I think at that stage of that season, I think we had a really good chance of getting automatically if we were doing great.
Yeah, we did
as well then.
I mentioned it when we spoke to Darren Ryan before, and Andy Priest as well, that season, that 93-94 side was just really good, just primed just to make that sort of final push. We'd been in the playoffs a couple of years before, and we were just ready, and we were just so good either side of Christmas that season. It was just ridiculous, but we ran out of steam in the end. I think
part of that as well. I think the club clubs that we're going against were bigger clubs really, and bigger squads. I think the problem we did all the time at Stockport, like I mentioned earlier on, we started with 12 or 13 players, but I think we probably only ever went to about 16, maybe 17, what you call regular, who go in the first team. I think other clubs had probably more like 21s, 22s, and I think it does help towards the tail end of the season if you've got a bigger squad, you've got a bit more quality and depth, should I say, right? So, yeah, but it's been a great one to go up on that season as well. Like I say, we were very close at the end, weren't it? But,
yeah, it was a long journey home, put it that way.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
There's only so much you can bridge with sort of team ethic, camaraderie, and coaching, isn't there? At the end of the day, even throughout football, throughout the years, it's money talks, isn't it? And stature of clubs and that kind of thing. So, just after that last game for County, then did you play anywhere else? Did you go down the leagues, or did you just literally stop?
No. I don't think I played any football probably about 6 months. I just went back playing with my mates. Then at Littleborough, I played with them before I started playing at Rochdale regular. Went back playing with that just in a Sunday league, which was nice to do, just nice and relaxed, and and you could play with your mates. Because I didn't really see a lot of my mates through your football career because I was either working or at football, so you missed out on a lot of that. So it'd be nice to play. So I played up to like 40 doing that.
Right.
Ended up playing in vets football up to being 53, 54. So I've only packed that in about 5-6 years ago. So
Do you not stand out like a sore thumb though? You know, when you went playing with your mates Sunday league, everyone must have known you in the league and thought, oh Jesus, we got Bill Williams is playing for them.
It was good. We did have a good team because the little bit of team that I played in, when getting into won the Lancashire Cup against all there and Champions of Champions as well. Got into the final of that twice. So it was a good side anyway. They were all good players who played in it as well. So it did, some really good footballs in it as well.
Yeah, you sound dead modest, to be honest, Bill. I played Sunday League football in Stockport District, and if there was a player who was even sniffed at semi-pro or something, everybody knew who he played for, and everyone was shit scared of him, basically. So you've come from like the third tier of English football into Sunday League. It must have been quite a thing.
Yeah, imagine that you're a little bit hungover and you're playing Sunday League and you're a striker.
Exactly.
And you walk on the pitch and there's Bill Williams. Oh, gee, no. You're not going to get the ball. You might as well just turn around and go home, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, it was quite a good standard actually. Rochdale Sunday League at that time, but yeah. No, it was good.
Good stuff. Did I hear right before that you're a United fan?
Yeah, well, I went watching United when I was 7-year-old. That was 1967, 68. A lad who used to work for my dad, a painter, and he took us to a game. Bobby Charlton were playing, George Best, Paddy Crewer, and you could run through them all. And I went watching the game. So after that, I'd always supported United as a kid. Like, 7-year-old, you'd seen that, and that was it, really, weren't it? You're never going to support anyone else.
Right. Okay.
I'll drop in a quick one. I can remember going watching was it 2008 when Stockport went up, the 5th game at Wembley, should I say, when Stockport went up when we played Rochdale, weren't it?
Yeah.
And I went watching the game with all my mates who were all Rochdale fans.
Right.
My family went as well. And they're all like, well, who are you supporting? Stockport, simple as that. So what do you mean you've lived in Rochdale like
good man
all your life, 40 odd years? Like, I said, no, as a football team, I'll always support Stockport over anybody. And I still do now. I do go and watch United as well like that. But my first result I will look for every week is Stockport. It always will be because I had 9 great years there. The people at the club, like I said, there's still people there now that were there when I was there, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you make of what it is like now? With the takeover, the investment, and the squad, and everything that's happening around the club. Do you get back much? Obviously, pre-COVID.
Yeah, I'll always get back to at least 2 or 3 games a season. They always invite you back. It's that type of club. That's what I say. It's such an homely club, and they always look after ex-players. Invite them back to games, and it's always great to come back. You still see a lot of people who were there. I finished in 95, and it's like 27, 28 years. But there's still people there who were there when I finished. So it's great memories when you go there. But yeah, I hope. Well, I was hoping last year, obviously, to get in the playoffs and then go out the way they did in the end and just miss out on it. It was sickening. I think the way they've invested, and I know they've spent money on players this close season again, haven't they? So, fingers crossed. I think now have a good chance they can do it this year, innit, and get back in the league where they belong, innit. That's what all Stockport fans want, innit. It was so sad. Every time they kept going down, I'm like looking, and it does, it sickens you because it's a big part of your life, and you want them to do well, And fingers crossed we can get back up this year, and I think the investment carries on. Hopefully, climb for the league or two again, innit. It's got to be the overriding thing. The public, the fans. Another thing I said, I think Stockport fans, I'm not saying it just because I'm an ENF. I think Stockport fans are the best fans I've ever seen. And that, I'd always say the way they got on with the players and everything, superb. Right away through. I think the crowds that they've got, even in the years they've gone down now, and obviously I live in Rochdale, so I'll always look at Rochdale's crowd. Stockport getting twice as many, playing like 3 leagues lower at one stage, weren't it? The pulling that Stockport have got. Because when I first started, all the games, nearly all the home games, were on Friday nights. And it was a fantastic atmosphere on a Friday night playing there. Because you used to get quite a few of the City fans from that side of Stockport who come watching on a Friday night. They were great. And the Friday night games, I'll always remember. The old wooden stands at the back of each door, like when it was a pop end and that. But great times.
Stuff. We have got a couple of questions in for you. I think you might know these people. If you do, that's fair enough. Who's the best player Who's the best player of all time in your opinion?
Is that Stockport time, or are we going?
Well, let's go with let's do two. Let's go with all time ever, and then count who you think. Who was the best player you played with then, or against?
Best player I played with, probably. If I went for, I'll do it in two. I went for a centre half who I played with. I said like 2 people. I'd say Mickey Flynn when he came. He was fantastic. I think if we'd have it at the right age, I was finishing my career when he came. He was coming into his prime. I think that's probably the best central defensive partnership could have played him. But I think Paul Jones. Only playing with him for half a season, I learned so much of him because he played at Bolton in the top league and everything like that. He's, I had a great time playing with him as well. But as a Stockport player, if I'd say you've got to go with Kevin, haven't you? Because he carries Stockport forward so much like that. But again, I mentioned 2 or 3. Like you mentioned already, Dave Frayne and Peter Ward. I think it was fantastic players with the club. I think of all-time players that I've actually seen and watched. I've watched all of them really. But I'd probably go back to when I was young and watch it. Probably Bobby Charlton. I'd go.
Right, Bobby Charlton.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the first main impression on me when I was a young lad. So, and I'm fortunate to play against him in a testimonial game at Rochdale in the early 80s. So,
Really?
Yeah. To play against him.
Were you marking him then?
No, well, he was just strolling around midfield, knocking ball all over the show. At the time, he must have been in his 40s, like, and I think I was only like 19, 20, so it was like Bobby Charlton on the same pitch. So it was, that was quite special.
That is pretty special, to be fair, isn't it? Wowzers, yeah, good story, good stuff. Yeah. Got another thing as well. This shouldn't test your memory. Red cards. Did you ever get a red card? And how many do you think you get?
Nowadays.
Yeah.
You get quite a few now. I think I only had 1 red card at Rochdale and then a red card after the game, which was quite Stockport played Rochdale, and someone I mentioned earlier on, Peter Ward was playing for Rochdale at the time, and I think we've been winding each other up for a big part of the game. At the end of the game, we had a bit of a tete-a-tete on the pitch, and then he ran off down the tunnel, and I chased him down the tunnel and knocked him flying in the tunnel. So I got arrested in the tunnel. Ended up in the police corner they had a little office on the side, and I ended up going in there and got arrested and got an FA ban for that. But not great. And after that, I always remember Danny Bergara calling him into office, the captain at the time. He called me and he says, I've got something to tell you. I said, yeah. He said, I'm bringing a player. He says, but I don't think you'll like it. I said, why? He said, so he's from Rochdale. I said, Peter Ward, like, I'm not bothered. It's not to do with me, you're bringing like that. And you're a cracking character, what he wanted. And he did the same when he came to the club. He was brilliant at winding people up on the pitch. That's for sure. He could. Geordie lad, weren't he? Funny lad as well.
Yeah.
Became great friends as well. We still are family-wise with him. He's a top lad, but that particular day, he just went me up a bit too much. So.
Did you? So you got arrested? Is that because the incident happened off the pitch?
Yeah, he was arrested, and the referee came where the police were in their room, and he sent me off after the game. He'd seen it I think one of the linesmen had seen it in the tunnel. So it was. I think I got about a 5-game ban, and I think Danny fined us a week's wages, and I think he got fined off the FA as well. So.
Yeah, did you have to pay the FA fine?
Sorry?
Did you pay the FA fine?
Yeah, the FA fine.
Yeah,
me, not the club. Yeah. So I think it wasn't a fortune, but it was that. There you go. You do silly things at times, don't you?
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
No, that's been great. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. We did have a lot of comments through, just saying, how sort of good you were. One of our good friends, who collects shirts, says, "Can you have a look at the shirt that's on the shirts that are on your walls?" You might want to buy them off, probably, if the match one.
I was going to ask that. Is that your Wembley shirt there over your shoulder?
Oh, the one in the far corner. I've only got one up, one stopper, one up there. Yeah, that was the Burnley game.
Yeah.
My son did it. Our Harry's the youngest lad. He did it as a birthday present. I think 50th birthday. He got it. I didn't realise, 'cause I've got all my shirts upstairs, but he got it framed and got it as for a 50th birthday present. So, yeah. He's got some shirts that that lad, hasn't he? Jeez, I've seen his collection when he's had him online. He's down the club, weren't he, with all the shirts that he got?
That's it, yeah. He's always on the hunt. So I'm sure we'll be messaging you on Twitter tonight to see what you've got.
See which ones we've got. All right. Yeah.
There you go.
Good.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on, and maybe one day we'll get you back on and talk some more footy.
Great. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Cheers for coming on, Bill.
Cheers, Bill. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
So yeah, Bill Williams.
You'll never beat Bill Williams.
You'll never beat Bill Williams. Yeah. Cracking. Thanks for all your comments coming in there. We will get more guests on, obviously, as the time goes on. And if you've not seen this before, this is new. The live bit is new. We've been a podcast since 2015. Though we've had Flinny's been on. We've had John Kieran, Sam Minion, all sorts of players. Danny Lloyd was on, Gary Stockford. So we do tend to get people from the club and players if we can, and just generally talk about county. So thanks for watching and listening if you're listening to the podcast in the morning or the following days. We could get Nick back on now, couldn't we? But he's gone, so...
We could, but we can just sit here chatting about him.
Yeah.
Well, he's sat there eating his cheese watching us.
We can. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to stop it and end the show. And yeah, just thanks to everybody for listening and watching. It's been a really good first episode. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Right. Well, we'll close the feed and thanks everybody for your comments and watching. Cheers. See you now.
See ya.